And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we are going to talk about the roommates, of course. When I can't really figure out what kind of video I want to make, I always think, hey, the roommates always got a good video for me to react to. So I hope you guys enjoy this. And also, for those of you who don't want to watch the ads on my videos, hey, just go over to Brave and download their browser because there's no ads on YouTube when you use it. So pretty awesome. So anyway, let's go deep into what Chris is going to talk about today, the most important decision of a man's life.
What's good, everyone? Chris, the star of the show, back with you for another video. What is going on, YouTube? Hopefully everything is going good in your life. I'm excited to be back. Let's go ahead and get started. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, do all those things. We're trying to get to 4,000 Patreons. We're almost there. We got about 1,000 left. So fellas, if we have blessed you, we have helped you along the way, please continue to support us and go watch the uncut material. I'm telling you, so today's topic, obviously you saw the title of it, you know, picking the right woman or the most important decision in life, wherever I've decided to name it. I haven't decided yet, but that is essentially the most important decision of your life. And I'm going to tell y'all a little bit why I got to this situation.
So he clearly states, the most important decision that you'll ever make in your entire life is the woman that you choose to hitch up with for life. Okay? Now, I agree that the interaction with women that you know, the decision of committing to women for life is the biggest decision that you will make for life. I completely agree. However, the fact that he says one, I have a big problem with that. You do not, okay? I repeat, you do not want to commit to one woman for life. You want to commit to 3 women for life. This is a different channel, guys. This is not your mainstream kind of crap. I'm just telling you straight what we talk about on this channel. If you understand female nature, you understand hypergamy, you understand the way that they're designed. Men were designed to have multiple women. Women were designed to have one high-value man. Guess what? In this day and age, there's only bad guys that have multiple women, and they're the ones that are basically screwing over all women, okay? And then eventually nice guys end up marrying these women, and that's a problem because these women now have a bunch of pasts, okay, that they bring into their relationship. And it's baggage. It's emotional baggage, and it's the pain of comparison because she's comparing all of the amazing players that she's been with in the past, or maybe she only remembers a couple of them that are really, really intensely seared into her brain. And then she now compares that to the loser that she's with. He might not be a loser, but monogamy makes him into a loser. Okay, I'm not going to spill the beans already. We haven't even started watching the video, but I just kind of want you guys to get the frame and the mindset that I'm coming from because I am married. I've been married for 11 years, soon 12, and I know exactly what I'm talking about when I tell you do not commit to one woman for life. It's going to make you, should I say, it's going to create so many detours in your life towards success. Is going to create so much problems in your life that cannot be solved in that monogamous relationship. And if you guys wonder what kind of problems those are, please go visit my other YouTube channel, the Women of High Value channel, where I go very deeply into the 3 in Love process, the 3 in Love philosophy, and also explaining why monogamy is one of the worst things that has been brought to pass on planet Earth. Literally, it is the root cause of all of the problems that we have in society today, okay? So when he says it's the most important decision of a man's life, yes, it is. But you know what's more important than the woman you choose? The decision to not be monogamous for life, okay? The choice to actually have multiple women, meaning 3 for life. This is not an excuse to sleep with women. I'm completely against that. As I just mentioned, players is what screws women over. Guess what? The moment you sleep with the woman outside of a committed relationship for life, you have now put yourself in the situation of a player. You're literally having now, even though you might be just committed to one woman, but you're not sure if you're gonna have her for life, You're still a player because you're now basically playing with her emotions. Because if you dump her, she's going to have issues as a result, okay? And if she dumps you, she's still going to have issues because you were an extra notch count. You're an extra body count to her long list, perhaps, of men that she slept with. Why did you participate in creating the problem? The biggest problem on planet Earth today, like I've said, yes, is monogamy, but it's the root. That's the root problem, but that brings promiscuity, where basically men and women sleep together with each other outside of lifelong commitment. That is horrible, and that's what creates dysfunctional families, okay? So families are fantastic. Monogamy sucks, okay? But sleeping with women outside of lifelong commitment, that's even worse, okay? Because that's like the symptom of the root cause. Like monogamy in and of itself is not, it's not an evil, so to speak, but it brings so much problems into the situation. And you could also call it an evil that you basically, the enemy of great is good, right? So you can have a good life being monogamous, okay? You'll have a good wife, you'll have a good life, maybe, but half of the time you're going to be miserable. Half of the time you're going to struggle. Maybe even 80% of the time, okay? Between there, 50 and 80% of the time, you're going to basically have a mediocre kind of aspect to your life. And this is all monogamous relationships, okay? And those that say that they're fantastically happy and they're monogamous as a man, they're kind of putting up a facade. Like, what else is he gonna say? Like, a married man, okay? He's got no exit strategy. There's no opportunity for him to leave. And if he does, he sucks, okay? I don't trust a man who's left a woman behind with divorce, okay? So, anyway, I'm totally going off track here, but yeah, just wanted to share some thoughts with you guys in the first 50 seconds of this video.
As I've been getting older, I've been seeing more of my friends get married. People I have grew up with. I have seen some colleagues of mine start getting married. And I'm starting to look at my parents, as their life, as they're aging. Also, my sister getting married. Marriage is all around me right now. It's crazy. Like I said, I'm 27, about to be 28. So marriage is all around me. And it just got me thinking, why would I want to get married? What was the purpose of marriage? Exactly what is the right way to select somebody? What's some of the things that, I need to look at in my life to really figure out how can I make the right decision the first time? You know what I mean? The first time. So a little bit of background,
Not the first time, the only time, okay? Once you selected your women, you've selected your women, okay? If you eventually have a divorce or there's a breakup in that relationship, you created that breakup, okay? Men are 100% responsible for a relationship sticking for life or if it deteriorates. It is always the man's it's always the man's fault 100% of the time. She cheats, it's the man's fault. Why? Because he definitely did not create the environment that was necessary for her. If you understand that a man is a leader, then you understand that women are the followers, okay? So if a woman is not following the man any longer, that must be a reason. There must be, the reason must be that the leader did something wrong, okay? Like, all relationships are leadership based. All businesses are leadership based. All relationships, everything in life, trust me, is leadership based. And if you suck as a leader, then people will not follow you. And this is the most important relationship or aspect of your life where you need to be a good leader. If you're not leading your family right, that's going to cause a lot of heartache, sorrow, issues, problems with you and your family in general, okay? You have to learn to become a great leader. And this is why I say that you postpone phase number 4 and 5, okay, out of the 5 phases of leadership. I've mentioned these before 100 times. Let's say it again. Number 1, allow yourself to be led. Number 2, lead yourself. Number 3, lead others. Number 4, lead women, but later, not now, if you haven't successfully done a good job on the first 3 phases. And then lead kids is the 5th one, and should not even be on your mind right now, okay? You put 4 and 5 first before the other three phases, you've messed up your life. You've created a 10-year, 20-year detour, and you might never recover. Okay? There's a lot of problems that come as a result of making those bad decisions.
My parents probably been married 30 plus years at this point, and we've been living in the same house since I grew up. They've been in the same house since birth till today. So at least 30 years, 33, 32 years of living in the same house, same city. So I had a lot of stability, a lot of foundation in my life, and I have seen their marriage. I have seen it. I have seen the good. I've seen the bad. I've seen the great. I've seen the worst of times. I have seen exactly who my father is, who my mother is, and how they make things work. I have seen it happen. So like I said, as I'm on vacation, with people, listening to some people's testimonies and some people's vows at the wedding, I'm like, man, people are really choosing their individual life. You have your own life, your own path. Whatever you want to do with it, you get to do with it. And two people are choosing to bring their life into one. Now you have to consider other people's objections, other people's concerns. How would this affect their life? How would it affect their family? You're no longer living for just yourself now. You're living for somebody else. So you have to make sure that you can provide a lifestyle or a level of comfortability, a level of protection that is greater than what you're used to right now.
I completely agree with most of what he's saying. The one aspect of two people choosing, really? Like if you are actually a leader and you understand female nature, she chooses you somewhat, okay? If you know what you're doing and you're able to attract women into your life, then the pull is something that happens to her, okay? The attraction level that happens to a woman when she's attracted to you as a man, and you are her best choice by far, okay? And you make that choice of being the best choice that any woman can have, okay? You can actually become that type of man. Now, obviously, if you're taken, so you're obviously no longer the best option that any woman can have. But you can get that level of confidence if you choose. That at some point in time, you are the best option that any woman has ever met. Okay? You can make that decision today that you will be that kind of man. Okay? It's the same decision as I will become a billionaire. Like, why not? Okay? Like, if you think big, if you think about possibilities, if you think about what all of the world problems that are happening around the world, don't you think that there's an extra $1 billion idea there somewhere? Yes, there is. And the only problem is your lack of self-esteem, lack of self-worth, and the lack of work ethic, and that's necessary to get there. Right? So it's the exact same thing with finding your women. Okay? If they're massively attracted to you, so in the same way, if money or people with money are massively attracted to you, you will become a billionaire. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, Jeff Bezos have made it such that money and people are just attracted to his business. Like, I just have to buy something on Amazon right now. I just can't help myself, okay? This is kind of what happens when you find your women of choice, where you've become that person that they cannot control themselves. They're so massively pulled and attracted to you that they can't help themselves. They surrender, they let go to whatever, emotion is happening to them, and so they choose you. Okay? So is that really a choice? If you've actually been the kind of leader, the kind of a man that you're supposed to be, I beg to say that it's not really a woman's choice, although it is her choice and she needs to come freely and voluntarily so that we know that you actually did it the right way. Does that make sense? Like, there is no force when you're living in harmony with the universe and when you're aligned, okay? When you're aligned and you're actually living your best optimal self, then things come to you. Like, naturally, it's just gravitational pull. And now you have the option of choosing which is the best choice for you. The cool part is that even though it's not really a choice for the women that choose you, once they do choose you because of the intense gravitational pull, then as long as they're freaking fired up outside their brain and happy, is it a problem that it wasn't their choice? Do you get what I'm saying? So it's their choice, but they were pulled. And this is what women want. They love being able to freely go in the direction of their hearts and their emotions. But it was their hearts and their emotions that led them to that choice. Do you get what I'm saying here? Hope that it's not too deep for you guys.
So, it was a lot of things that was going on in my head. Like I said, I got my phone, so make sure I don't miss anything. So, like, I decided to ask myself, why would I want to get married in the first place, right? Quick answers to start a family. I would love to be a father to my sons. I want twin boys. I'm letting y'all know right now. I'm claiming it up above. I want twin boys. We need the big old name to run through and seek havoc on this world, respectfully, obviously. So, I want sons, and I definitely always wanted to be a husband as well. Really taking care of my wife is something that I truly want to do and make sure I'm doing good at it. Goddamn fly going crazy. And then also, as I began to think,
Again, I completely agree with him, man. Becoming a family man, a father, is absolutely amazing. But you do not want to take on the role of a mother/father, okay? Because this is what happens when you get married. Where the woman is the mother and the wife, but there's just not enough capacity to go around for these kids, okay? Ever. Which is why the vast majority of the world population these days send their kids off to school. What the flip is up with that? Like, literally, why are people sending their kids to someone else to raise them or to take care of them or to teach them? Wouldn't it be amazing if the same people with the same value system as you, same belief system as you, the mothers of their own children, had the opportunity of raising your kids? Like, that would be the optimal choice. But guess what? One woman can't do it. Because women are not inclined to be stay-at-home mothers and to take care of their children, even though that's the right thing to do. Okay? Obviously, I'm not speaking for everyone here, but I'm just saying from a general standpoint, of a principle standpoint, why wouldn't you if you could? Now, most people can't because of high taxes and the expenses are too high, and so they need two incomes and blah, 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 blah. And the man's self-worth is low, again, because of monogamy. So the world just can't do it. But in an optimal situation, yes, it would be great if the mother could be a stay-at-home mother and take care of the kids. But guess what? In monogamy, a mother doesn't want to be a stay-at-home mother, even if they had the money. Why? Because she can't stand being isolated at home with a minor or with the child that doesn't relate to her and her brain waves. Okay? She needs other women. This is one of the reasons why 3 in Love is so crucial to understand for the whole world, because you can't really enjoy life as a woman, as a stay-at-home mother, and raise kids, homeschooling them, if you don't have other women around. Okay? So now other people will say, well, maybe we could have like villages again and tribes, and and you need the grandma and the aunties to help out and blah, blah. Everyone has no capacity, okay? Or in other words, no one has capacity for anything these days. So stay-at-home mothers who are homeschooling are left behind. That's a problem, okay? And that's why they send them off to school very often. So you got to understand this. This is also one of the reasons for 3 in Love, of course. But yeah. Is there anything else?
Life is not really created for one individual to just be alone forever. We're talking at least 80 years of just loneliness or not having a partner or having people coming in and out of your life. I think there's a blessing and some kind of reward of having stability and having somebody that can come home with that, somebody that can comfort you, that can love you through your tough times. That is something that I feel like every human should have. I also think it's our nature. You can see animals do it. Animals do it all the time. They choose and the woman will follow the guy. Lions, deers, whatever the case may be, you always see a pair of a male and a female together living life with one another. So I thought that was very, very interesting. So if we get the why out the way for myself, now I begin to look at it like, okay.
And I completely agree with all of that. Of course, why would you go through life like lonely, because it does get lonely after a while, even for players who can get any woman they want at any time. The relationships that players have are shallow, okay? You got to understand that. If you become a player, you will have only shallow relationships. And even those where you're trying to get depth as a player, if you've, basically dated tons of women, so you basically, so I can get any woman I want, so I'm awesome. No, you suck, because you can never ever develop a long-term deep relationship with the woman. Why? Because you lose trust, okay? A man who sleeps with a lot of women starts to not trust women, because he can't trust himself. Why? Because he's feminine as hell, because he cannot control himself. Okay, a man who continuously sleeps with women will not, he's a guy who's into instant gratification, trust me. Which means that he sees female nature. He understands, oh, because she cheated on him with me, okay? That's what the player's thinking. So how did she do that? Like I don't think I can trust women now, having seen that women so easily jump into bed with me, even though they're in relationships with other people. This is the player's mindset that gets completely warped, and he believes now that women cannot be trustworthy. And in many ways, it's true if the man who is in a relationship with that woman is the wrong type of a man. Like, he actually hasn't leveled up, and he's also living in monogamy, which means that he doesn't understand female nature and how women always look to the outside of the relationship because they're not emotionally fulfilled in monogamy, so they're looking for elsewhere. They want stability in their relationship, but then they want the action elsewhere, because there is no action in a monogamous relationship. The fire and the spark goes out fast in all long-term relationships in monogamy. In 3 in Love, it doesn't work like that. In 3 in Love, women are fired up outside their brain about their high-value man. Why? Because of pre-selection. Because they see other women, their best friends, actually desiring their man. And that gets them kind of fired up about their man. Okay? Female psyche is pretty awesome. Okay, once you understand it. But in general, yes, you want women in your life, okay? I'm completely against the MGTOW philosophy, because that it is a philosophy of not understanding female nature and blaming them. You can't blame the follower. You're the leader, for crying out loud, okay? You're a man, a male, masculine man, hopefully, which means that you're the leader. What kind of leader blames his follower by saying that she's bad behavior, she's doing this, she's sleeping around with tons of people, even though, and guys who are MGTOW sleep with a bunch of women very often, or they're, incels or whatever. But the guys who sleep around with a bunch of women, and then they complain about women having a bunch of body counts, what the flip is up with that hypocrisy? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so you gotta look at it from that type of, perspective. Anyway, what I'm saying is, family is awesome. You want women in your life, but there needs to be a priority. Like I've mentioned before, it's phase number 4 and phase number 5. Not phase number, not phase 1, 2, or 3. Phase 1, 2, or 3 is you becoming a millionaire before you start even thinking about finding your women. Okay? Why? Because you want to become. You don't set the goal of $1 million for the $1 million. You set the goal of $1 million for who you become in the process. Going through the rejection, going through the hardships, going through the grueling grind of struggling and trying to get over yourself and your femininity. That's what you're trying to get, over when you're trying to get the $1 million. So someone who is self-made, there's no such thing as self-made millionaire, but someone who is self-made, okay, he's gone through a path of becoming a diamond, so to speak, where he's been grinded and gone through the fiery furnace for him to become this amazing gem eventually. Every man has to go through this. Does it have to take until he's 30 years old before he gets those women? No. Okay? A man should quit school at age 12 and begin working the 80-hour work week, in my opinion, and then 6 years later, he'll be a millionaire at the age of 18. That's the kind of philosophy that I've got. And at age 18, you're a millionaire and you've gone through the fiery furnace and you understand female nature. Why would you not understand 3 in love, get the stamp of approval from the community and have 3 in love? Why wouldn't you as an 18-year-old? Okay? If you've gone through the process. But if you're 20 or 22 or 25, but you've gone through the process and you've got the finances, you understand female nature and you have the stamp of approval, why wouldn't you at that point in time find the women that you want, them be massively attracted to you, you creating an amazing environment where her family and her friends absolutely love you and they accept your 3 in love philosophy, you're good to go. Okay? So, yeah. Pretty cool video so far, eh?
If I'm an individual and I understand that life is not perfect, life is going to throw things at us that if we're married or not married, it's going to come regardless. For example, like death in a family. If you have your parents, unfortunately, your parents will pass away, unfortunately. Siblings, close friends, college, death is coming. So that's going to be a hard time. If we being honest with ourselves, it's going to be a lot of career changes. I've changed a career 2-3 years after college. I made a career change and now I'm into podcasting and YouTube. That was a career change.
Yes, okay, I understand the aspect of death. Death is going to happen, obviously. However, I have to bring to your attention that the less capacity people have in their lives, the more problems they're going to have. Would you agree? Like, if you don't have any capacity and everything's like all over the place and there's so much to do and we got to make money there and blah, blah, blah. This is what happens very often when a man who's not financially fit actually commits to a woman and they start a family, and very often there's kids quite quickly thereafter. There's a problem with that. You're literally creating now an extra human being that has a lot of needs, both physical and emotional needs of being taken care of. In addition to the woman that also has a lot of emotional, physical needs, etc. that needs to be taken care of. So you're adding, you're problem stacking now, okay? The woman in and of itself, in monogamy, is a massive issue. It's a massive problem because you don't understand female nature. 99.999% of men in the world today who are in monogamous relationships and even outside do not understand female nature yet. Fortunately, the word is coming out. We're beginning to understand all of this stuff, which is great. Those of you guys who are watching my channel, I hope you are sharing this channel with other guys so that they begin to understand female nature. Maybe not this channel, but the Women of High Value channel teaches it, okay? Like, you get the full information there, okay? My clients are really grateful that they understand this stuff and they observe it and see it every single day, okay? So, what was I saying about death, right? Yes. Capacity. You want a lot of capacity. In 3 in Love, as a man, you're free. You don't have to fix the house. Fix the house. I mean, obviously, there might be things that need to be fixed. I'm talking about you don't have to be cleaning the house. You don't have to, do the basics of domestic work in order for the family to run smoothly. When things break, of course, as a masculine man, you'll take care of the problem or you'll pay someone to do it. But what I'm saying is that you're free. You don't have to take care of the kids to unburden your wife. You don't have to, clean. You don't have to do this, that, and the other. You can literally work 12 hours a day if you wanted to. Which means that you have a lot of capacity. And because you already have cash, you don't need to work 12 hours. Which means that literally at the time you enter into 3 in Love, you're free. You're financially free. And you're also free from the family, the family obligation, so to speak, that other men in monogamy have that you in 3 in Love do not have, because the 3 have got the house tight. Okay, they figured they have everything, their habits, their routines, the kids working properly, the house being amazing, the food working out. Everything is working in your house because the women have capacity. One woman alone never has capacity. And if she does, she doesn't have kids, or the kids are grown up, okay? A woman who has multiple kids and the kids are below the age of 12, you better believe that she has no capacity in monogamy. 3 women who don't have to work, they have tons of capacity for relationships and health. And if you get what I'm saying? Okay? So from a capacity standpoint, when people are sick, Well, first of all, the most important thing is you guys, okay? You four and the kids. Are you healthy? Are you fit? Are you having a wonderful time? Great. If that's the case, now we can begin to look for the needs of others. Before in monogamy, you couldn't do that. You have to look inwards all the time to solve our own problems. Oh, they have problems. Well, we can't help them. Oh, what are we going to do? I don't know. Okay, we need to, charity starts at home. Always in monogamy, almost until you've the kids have grown out of the nest. You finally make some money and and now you can actually tackle other people's problems. But very often you get too old by the time when you can actually begin to look at others' needs and then begin to help them. And at that time, you're not making that much money anymore. So it's like too late. Life has passed you by and you had no capacity for 40 years or 20 years or 30 years or whatever it was. In 3 in Love, you have capacity from day one because you took care of business before it started. And in 3 in Love, you still got 12 hours to work, 12 hours to do whatever, 12 hours to help other people. So you can help your sick family members. You can pay for the top doctors and top surgeons and top whatever for your extended family to have great health and relationships. You can give jobs to those in your family who are struggling or who are temporarily got fired from their job. If you're not in a position that I'm explaining to you right now in 3 in Love, you're not going to be able to help because you don't have capacity. In 3 in Love, you have time and money. And the women have time and money. Do you see the difference? Now we can actually go out and help, which actually causes the lifespans of the people around you to increase. That's great, including yours. And from the other aspect, he was talking about death, and the other one was, other problems that happen. But now you can kind of get, I took the hardest one, death, but imagine all of the other problems that would be solved, man. It's amazing what happens when you got capacity.
And to think that something like that is not happening between a man or a woman, or somebody get fired, or somebody loses their job, or for, God forbid, some kind of health concern, or make people into disability and force people into retirement. There are things that are going to come into happen, to these roadblocks, these obstacles. Things are coming.
Why? I mean, yes, I understand. Life is not perfect. It's supposed to test you. Blah, blah, blah. But can't you take care of the biggest thing first before you start that journey with women? I'm talking about the financials, okay? You got $1 million, it's going to be a different journey for you than if you came into the marriage with $10,000. You see the difference, okay? So, but the aspect of career change, you might have career changes, but if you're a business owner, you have multiple streams of income. Like, I very, very doubt that Chris in this situation would get another career change after YouTube. Like, the only reason why that would happen is if YouTube quit on him and they deleted his channel. Okay, then he would have to figure out another social media platform. But because they've got a following, because they got Patreon, because they got Instagram, because they got all that other stuff, there is not going to be any career change. And it's the exact same thing for you. Once you become successful at something and it pays good bucks, you're not going to do another career change. And if you do, you have the money, so it's not a big deal to make a career change. Does that make sense? Like, you guys got to understand that life is a series of logical steps where you can literally set up your life for joy, bliss, and happiness, like, easily, if you prioritize correctly. So when he says it's the most important decision of a man's life, the biggest thing that you need to do is to postpone it. Okay? Procrastinate women as much as possible, which is the opposite thing of what the vast majority of men are doing these days. They watch porn. They try to get laid. They try to get a date. They try to be on Tinder. They try to get married. They try to blah, 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 blah. They're complaining when they're 18 years old, I don't have a girlfriend. Okay? That's not you anymore. You want to get in a completely different mindset where you basically say, next 5 years, I have no interest in women, none whatsoever, okay? Other than being on, seed retention, SR, and enjoying women's beautiful faces on the street. Like, I can look at women, one glance is enough, and I get like a nice dopamine spike because I'm on SR and my dopamine receptors are working, okay? That's the only thing you need from women. You don't need to talk to them. You don't need to date them. You don't need to DM them. You don't need to do any of that Just have in your mind the motivation that I'm going to have 3 in love in the future. And I'm taking care of business today to make sure that that happens. So you can set yourself up for that, but you got to hunker down, head down, start working, get your life in order, get your money in order, and get the stamp of approval from the community, the Men of High Value community, that you're good to go and you understand female nature good enough, and you're responsible, you're trustworthy, and you've got everything that it takes for you to start 3 in love.
Regardless of the fact that is going to happen in our lifetime. So as I begin to also sit and think about, all right, if I understand that things are going to come and life isn't easy, it's always going to be a test, it's always going to be an obstacle, it's not going to be just 20, 30 plus years of just great fortune and comfort all the time. It's always going to be something. We understand that. We get all that.
Yes and no, okay? The money will be there. If you actually figure things out from the monetary standpoint and you are confident, you can make $1 million anytime. It's like your shoelaces, man. Once you learn how to tie your shoelaces, once you learn how to ride a bike, you know how to ride a bike. You know how to tie your shoelaces, okay? Which means once you've made $1 million, you know how to make $1 million. You can make it at any point in time, anywhere, because you built it from scratch yourself together with your team or the people that helped you, okay? So that's not a problem anymore. And you've got to get that inside your head that that's the mindset you need to have. Once you got that out of the way, the financials is not a problem, okay? Are there other problems in life? Of course. But the cool part about it, once you've taken care of the money situation, okay, then it's, of course, you want to accelerate and build on that. You want to, achieve your full massive potential. Well, you don't know what your potential is. You don't know what your optimal self will be in the future. So you got to think massive about what's possible. And when you do that, you will literally naturally attract problems, bigger problems into your life, but you welcome it. You're fired up outside your brain about it because bigger problems means bigger pay. Bigger problems mean bigger pay. So if you manage to solve problems, you're going to be able to get paid for it, right? And the bigger problems, the more problems you have, if you understand this, how this works, the bigger the pay. But the cool part, because you've had those big paydays, there are some problems that you could just say no to. You don't have to take care of this problem. It was a big problem, and guess what? I delegated it to someone else. Or I said, no, I'm not going to solve that problem. Or whatever it is, because you have the option to do so once you got the money. You don't need to solve that problem. The problem with monogamy is that you very often are in a needy situation to solve a problem, and that actually causes you to be misaligned with the universe, because the universe recognizes when you're needy and desperate, and it recognizes when you're fired up outside your brain knowing that you're going to get what you want. The universe gives you everything you want when you're fired up outside your brain and you know what you want. Okay? It just takes a little bit of time according to your belief system, according to your positivity. But if you're needy and desperate, the universe literally makes sure that everything that you want is repelled away from you. Okay? If you're needy and desperate. So that's like the number one thing that you've got to fix inside your brain is I'm no longer needy and desperate. Why? Because I got tons of options. Why? Because I've eliminated everything from my life. I don't need anything right now. I only need the 80-hour work week, and anyone can get started with the 80-hour work week. That's the only thing you need, really. Once you do that, you'll be practicing SR automatically, in my opinion, and then you can move on from there. Suddenly you begin to have options, and suddenly now things are beginning to go in the right direction.
That's why I always come back down to choosing your wife, men, is the most important decision in your life. Because like I said, if this is life, you got a level of bad mishaps, death, career change, health issues that are going to happen regardless. And if you add on top of that, Hafiz, one of Hafiz's most quoted quotes, Bible verses, whatever the case may be, this is what he says a lot. It's a Bible verse, by the way. It's better to live in the desert than to be married to a quarrelsome, complaining wife. So if you have a woman that is not on your team, that you probably picked wrong, or you evaluated wrong, or she changed, or she gave you the opie dope, whatever the case may be, then
she changed. That's funny. women don't change. You changed, okay? Or monogamy changed you, okay? That's when women change.
It's going to add another level of just disdain and unhappiness to life. If you know you're going to get this level of unhappiness in life, guaranteed, married or without marriage, and then you add a quarrelsome woman to that, now you just increase your unhappiness, your lack of joy. A lot of things that are just are arguments, pain, just all these things are going to increase because you chose the wrong woman.
LOL. You got to understand that in monogamy, you will always, 100% predictable, have a quarrelsome woman in your life. 110% certainty. Okay? So the guys who are saying that, it is better to be in the desert on the rooftops, that's actually what the scripture says, than to be with the quarrelsome woman, in the house with the quarrelsome woman, they haven't gotten married. Okay? Like, the only way that you can avoid quarrels is if you agree. Okay? That stops the quarreling real quick. Okay? But that means that you're submitting every single argument. So if you do that, what happens to the attraction between you and your lady? Is not going to be any. Okay? So that's the problem right there. It's a problem monogamy creates and that you will never, ever solve in monogamy. Because there will be quarrels because you can't do everything right. Why? Because she's not attracted to you. So the more non-attracted she is to you, the more problems she's going to give you because you created this environment where she is disgusted and repelled of the man that is sleeping next to her in her bed. And that guy created that problem, okay? He's the reason why he's sleeping in my bed right now. Why? Because he's the leader. Woman is the follower. She always blames the leader. Fantastic. Leader should always take the blame. But in monogamy, if he takes the blame, she's going to lose attraction, and then there's going to be more problems as a result. You see how horrible that setup is? You got to understand how this system works. You got to understand how monogamy messes everyone up and creates so much problems. And it's like there's no other option out there. The only other option is MGTOW sleeping around with women, but I want a family. And men need to wake up and begin to understand the reality of the situation. And I hope that I can contribute with that.
Or you went with the wrong woman. If you pick the right one, then it's just like, in my mind, in my brain, hopefully I'm explaining this correctly. If you pick the right woman, then you get to run alongside with the woman that God created you to be with. And then also, you get the best opportunity at life itself. You get the best life you can possibly have. That's how I look at it. If I choose the right woman, on top of I'm already going on my purpose, I'm already healed, I'm already finding more about myself, self-awareness, continue to level up, continue to do all these things. Like I said, you can do that with or without a woman. But if you pick a woman to do all those things, to go on this level up journey with, now you can have the best possible life. Like I said, life is gonna throw things at you regardless. But now since you have somebody that is for you, that loves you, that can comfort you, that you can enjoy the small things with, that you can really just confide in that person and have a running mate, a partner. Because we both know that life is hard. But by the grace of God, we have each other. In my brain, you give yourself the best opportunity at life.
So, would you rather be single for life and not sleep with anyone and be a monk? No one wants that, okay? Then you got the other option, which is sleeping around with women and screwing them over and their husbands, right? Because that's what you do. When you sleep with women, you're screwing over their husbands and their future children and their future children and their future children, okay? So you're screwing over all sorts of generations when you do that. And then you now, like, what you do as a result of that, like that's the two options right there. If you don't, you see what I'm saying? So the last two aspects, hold on a second. You have to go out. So very difficult to do a live stream when there's someone else in the room, but we'll see if we edit this out. So you see the aspect of you have the two options, MGTOW, which is not a very good 80-year plan, okay? And then you have the other one, sleeping around with women, screwing everyone over in society. That's not a very good plan either. And it's actually going to make you miserable if you stay that way for life. That's why players eventually end up settling down. Like, ridiculous, but so be it. And then you got the other option of monogamy, which is the one that most people choose after the age of 35 or something like that. And then they begin to have kids, and then all the problems start happening, and they begin to look back at their 20s and how amazing that was, and blah, 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 blah. Okay? And then you got the fourth option, which people don't know exists, which is 3 in love. Okay? So, which one would you prefer? You know? Ask yourself. That's the thing. Okay? Like, it's an obvious answer. It's an obvious choice, but you don't believe that it's possible. So, you got to watch my channel more. Hire me for coaching, you know, get that belief in you so you understand how this properly works and how you can make work for you.
That's why I think a lot of these guys, when they say don't get married, I would never get married, they use their past experiences, they use their parents' experience, they hear some BS they heard on YouTube or read some random article, whatever the case may be, and they make their decisions and informed decisions based on that. So obviously, if your life is here and you picked the wrong woman, or this woman changed upon you, whatever the case may be, like yada yada, like you did something wrong and she doesn't want to forget and let go, she can't move on, she can't forgive, whatever the case may be. Now your life, as in joy and happiness and satisfaction and just the overall life experience, is going to be worse now.
Okay, I just gotta get this clear for everyone out there. There is no such thing as a right woman. I will repeat myself. There's no such thing as a right woman. Every woman, trust me, they're all the same. Some of them have more baggage than others. Some of them are more burdened than others, okay? But as a natural evolving aspect of your life, if she spends time with you and is part of your core life, okay, as, you know, your woman, she is going to evolve and change to adapt to you and who you are, okay? Which means that, like, you become like those you associate with, but not only that, but she morphs into your values and belief systems, and she follows who you are, okay? So that's why I said that women change. What? Okay? No, women don't change. They change because of you. So in the same way, there's no such thing as a right woman because she will be the right woman according to who you are. Okay? So that aspect of be the right person, don't try to find the right person, be the right person, that thing is actually correct for men, not for women, for men. Okay? However, women can do a lot of things to try to unburden themselves so that it's more easy for them to adapt and be flexible, you know, and kind of become part of his life. Okay? The more burdened a woman is, the harder it is for him to lead, right? It's going to be hard, okay? So if he's not amazing, then she's going to struggle to kind of follow his leadership. And as a result, that's going to give him a lot of extra problems. Does that make sense? So the better you become as a man, the more right the women that you choose will be for you. So that gives you hope, because that means that all of this is on you, you know, like, because if you watch this video, you'll be like, oh, but what if I make the wrong choice, man? What if, you know, it might be the wrong choice? Bro, it's not possible for you to make the wrong choice if you're the right kind of guy, okay? Which means that you've gone through the process, you understand masculinity, you understand femininity, you understand female nature, and you've got the financial means to actually do the things that I mentioned earlier in the video. Okay? You become the right guy. The right women will appear. Okay? That's how it is. Or in other words, there's another saying, when the student is ready, the master appears. Isn't that what the saying is? Which basically means, like, the women, they're waiting for you, man. They're literally waiting for you for 3 in love, okay? They just don't know about it yet. They're waiting for you to swoop them up and to fall in love with you. They're waiting. Literally. There's millions, maybe even a billion women that are waiting. for men to shape up and to swoop them off their feet. Okay? You can be that guy, but you're not ready yet. So it's time to get ready. Right?
It's not going to be as good. It's not going to taste as sweet because not only you have life killing you, which is going to kill you regardless. We said that 5 times already. But now you got a quarrelsome, complaining wife to deal with as well. No wonder why so many older men are unhappy.
Completely agree, and that's what happens, but it happens in every monogamous relationship. Every. The only place a man does not have a quarrelsome woman is because he is either an amazing leader, okay, and he understands female psyche, and he can still do that in monogamy as long as they don't have kids, okay? Then she won't quarrel much, okay? She will be sweet, she'll be submissive, she'll be fired up, excited, blah, 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 if he's the right type of leader. Even in monogamy, that's possible as long as they don't have kids below the age of 12, okay? However, in, what was I going to say? Yeah, in general, everyone else have a quarrelsome wife. No exception to the rule, ever. Why? I made a video on the Women of High Value channel called Women Are Always the Head of the Household. You're like, no, I'll be the head of my household. No, trust me. If you choose monogamy, the woman will always be the head of the household. Why? 1, she cares about a lot, okay? And number 2, she has intense emotions. So if you combine those two, her caring about something and then her intense emotions, and then you compare that to men who we don't really care, and number 2, we don't have as intense emotions as women, or at least we shouldn't have. You pair that up, you'll notice very quickly that men will submit quite naturally as a result. They want peace in the home. They don't want to fight. They don't want to quarrel. Okay, so they submit. Or in other words, they just let her win. And she might enjoy winning the battle, but she'll be losing the attraction war. Okay, the aspect of actually having a man she looks up to, because he submits all the time, and he's loose and he's wishy-washy. Why is he wishy-washy? Like, flip-flopping? Because she flip-flops and she knows that. Women are like, their feelings are fleeting, and yet they care about so many things, and yet they have intense emotions. So you compare all of this together, like, it becomes very interesting in monogamy, okay? Let's just say it like that.
They're bitter. They're sad. They feel lifeless and empty inside because they are going through life and then they are having trouble and have a complaining, quarrelsome wife at home. Like I say, that could be because of them and their past reaction and whatever the case may be. It could be because they chose the wrong woman. Their evaluation was terrible. Whatever the case may be, they probably ignored the red flags and was just happy because she looked a certain way or they didn't want to be lonely, so they decided to settle. Whatever the case may be, all those reasons are the wrong reasons. And eventually, their infatuation, your tolerance level of her attitude, the way she talks to you, the disrespect, whatever the case may be, eventually it's going to run out. Especially over 40, 50 years of time. There's no way you can just tolerate and just be happy with somebody that you feel like you're not fully satisfied with. There's just no way it's going to happen. So that's why I say you have to pick the right woman, and that is the most important decision of your life. Because if you think about it, some of y'all have some experience with your parents, living with them, you know what I mean? May not be the best. Obviously may not be the best for your situation. Some of you all want to be a little less strict with rules. Some people say I should have had more strict, whatever the case may be. You go to college, or if you go outside of college, you have a roommate, and the roommate's terrible. Don't clean up after themselves. Don't care about nothing. Daggum random stuff. I got random stuff sitting out. I ain't gonna tell you my roommate is, but I'm just saying, like, you got random stuff going crazy around here. I'm just playing. Ain't nothing going on in my apartment. But anyways, yeah, you have these living situations with people that you can already just use as an experience. Obviously, having a spouse versus having a roommate or living with your parents is not the same, but you can at least see, like, all right, if I'm living with somebody that I really don't like like that, you're going to be constantly around this person and constantly reminded of why you don't like this person. And you have to dread to come home. I know some guys that dread to go home back to their apartment.
Why do you think that men worked so hard in the past? Men in general, because of monogamy, work long hours because they don't want to go home. Because at work, they're superheroes very often if they've been in their field for a long time. When they come home, they're the slave. And they're unhappy. And the woman's complaining and bitching and causing problems. Okay? Not her fault. It's his fault for putting her in that situation. Okay? Because she's not supposed to be in that flippin' situation called monogamy. She wasn't designed for it. She's unhappy in it. Although she believes that there's all the other reasons. No. It's monogamy. Okay? And because it screws him over, right? The man loses confidence as a result. The woman's not interested in him anymore as a result. He's got kids now, so there's no exit strategy as a result. And why would you even have divorce as an option? That's not acceptable. A man should never, ever, ever leave any woman behind that he commits to for life. Ever. And if they choose to leave him, that tells me a lot about that guy. Okay? So, in general, 100% responsibility. But yes, men, there's a reason why they call it a man cave. Okay? To get away from the woman. Okay? Work to get away from home. Okay? And who has the hardest time? It's not the man, it's the woman. Who has the hardest time? That's why she's complaining. Do you think women literally want to quarrel? Do you think women want to complain and nag and bitch all the time? Women don't want to do that. It's a natural result of the horrible environment that he's created. Because of lack of preparation, or because of his ignorance, or because of monogamy in general, which is basically his ignorance.
They're looking for reasons not to go home. They're looking for multiple reasons not to go home because they know that it's not just happiness and joy there. There's frustration. There's something to do, something complaining going on, whatever the case may be. They either evaluated wrong or they chose and picked the wrong woman or they ignored all the red flags in her because they don't want to be lonely because of whatever the case may be. So, fellas, that's why we always urge you to do the work.
He's talking about ignoring red flags. Is it possible to actually pick the wrong choice? No. In my opinion, no. It's impossible to pick the wrong choice. The only choice that was wrong was his prioritization. Okay? It was the wrong time for him to get involved with women. Now that's something that the man is to blame for. Okay? But he can't blame himself for choosing the wrong woman. He can blame himself for choosing to get married at that specific time according to his personal development at that specific time. Was I ready to get married at 23? Should I have gotten married at 23? Hell no. Okay, I was not ready. Mentally, physically, financially, so many red flags in me. Okay? You know, seeing past the red flags is seeing past your red flags. That's really what it is. You cannot make the wrong choice in a woman. You can only make the wrong choice in the timing of believing you're ready when you're not. Okay? You need a stamp of approval to tell you that you're ready in many aspects. And yes, it is a leap of faith at some point in time when you jump into 3 in love, you know? Like, there's going to be an interesting journey that in and of itself, especially because it's not normal, right? It's a different path than what most people are doing, like, for sure. So, but it sure is a timing thing. And you just don't jump into that nilly-willy. You need to understand what it's all about and how it works. In my opinion, I would never encourage anyone to choose a second-rate option now that I know what I know. In the past, I told tons of people to get married because I was married. Okay? And I was like, yeah, you should get married and monogamy is awesome. Really? Right? But now that I understand what I understand, I'm like, no way. I would tell anyone to get married. Unless you want a mediocre life, and that's okay. But why would I recommend a mediocre life to anyone? I'll tolerate it. I'll support them. I'll be there at their weddings. I'll be their best man if they want me to. But I'm telling you, you should not get married, okay? I'll be the best man telling them, like, bro, have cold feet. You need to have cold feet. But really, that's like the worst thing you can do to a woman is to leave her at the wedding, at the altar. So no, that's not acceptable. But I should have told him a long time ago if he actually wanted to take my advice on it. I would have told him, don't do it. Don't do it. No. So anyway, just kind of wanted to put that in there.
the self-control, the healing, the self-awareness, all those things so you can really learn yourself and who you are. And really, once you know who you are, then you can figure out and pick the right partner. A lot of men out here are picking partner off of just infatuation alone. Just because they can get hard. Just because she can look a certain way. Just because she can look good next to them. Whatever the case may be, these guys are picking these women wrong. If you don't put the work in, if you don't find your purpose, you don't find your life mission, you don't level up continuously, then you would not pick the right woman. You have to have all that information. Like, trust me, there should be just notes and notes and notes and notes of data collected on myself that I have in my brain, that I have collected over the last 10, 15 years to let me into a informed decision of who I'm going to pick to be my wife. And I have put a lot of work in, a lot of healing, a lot of hard conversation, people calling me out. You need to do better. You got to do X, Y, and Z. You know, and like I said, me learning myself, it really understand exactly what type of woman that I need to have along my side. Because once you know yourself, you can only deal with people that are also healed as well. You only can deal with people that can understand the process. You can only deal with people that truly get you. And then you are past the point where you're like, oh, I'm going to just make it work. Oh, I'm going to ignore the red flags. Oh, I'm going to try to change this person. Fellas, you put the work in. And you understand that once you have that information and knowledge about yourself, there's certain things that you cannot tolerate anymore. Like me, I can't tolerate bad attitude. It's just no way. Why are you angry? It's 7:30 in the morning. Like, don't be angry. It's too early to be angry.
Blame, blame, blame. You see the entire video. I mean, he does mention a lot about, leveling up, obviously, his shirt, and saying that, healing and being self-aware and all that stuff. I've never heard once him say the word responsibility, though. Like, are you responsible? Are you the leader or not? If she's bitching at you at 7:30 in the morning, there's a reason. Okay? Why? Have you figured it out? No, you haven't. You should have known preemptively why she would be upset at 7:30 in the morning. And if she is upset, then you've obviously created an environment whereby she is upset. Whose fault is it? Is it her fault for being upset when she can't control her emotions when she's burdened? Or is it your fault for creating the environment where she's upset? Who should you blame? Should you blame her? What happens if you blame the woman? What happens? Guess what? Women inherently know that they should never, ever be blamed. So that you're basically rejecting her and putting up a wall between you and her when she just wants to be understood. You got no comprehension of the female psyche, Chris, okay? No offense. You guys are awesome. You just don't want to understand this aspect of 100% responsibility and accountability that you created whatever situation that she has a problem with, but also the situations when she's flipping awesome. You created that, okay? Which makes you as the creator, as the father, as the leader, okay? When you understand this concept of creating true joy, bliss, and happiness, and you being a leader, like, everything changes. They'll follow you. And you'll know that it's because you are the man, okay? And they'll follow voluntarily. If they don't, it's you. Do you know how hard that lesson is? It is extremely hard. But once you understand that lesson, that one lesson, and you get it, which you won't, because you need 100,000 reminders that you are the leader. You are responsible. You are a mini god in the making that is creating his environment. Okay? You're responsible for everything that happens around you, bro. It's incredible once you get it. These guys, they're so close and yet so far away.
You know what I mean? I can't tolerate disrespect. Like, you're not about to just disrespect me in front of me, in front of people. Like, now you have me all the way messed up. It's a lot of things that I just won't tolerate versus some nice guys, they probably will just because she looks some kind of way or just because they got her attention. You know, and maybe this video is a little bit too long now, I feel like it is, but there's a difference between infatuation and there is love. Infatuation, all this stuff is going to run out. You know, how y'all feel about each other, the little puppy dog. Sometimes I can't talk. This little teenage, fever. Y'all are in this little honeymoon phase. Eventually it'll wear off.
Wrong. horribly wrong. And that is what relationship experts are teaching everywhere out there. You will not hear this anywhere else. I'll tell you right now, the only reason why women wear out their infatuation stage is because of flippin' monogamy. It is the one thing that literally shuts women's, like, it turns them off completely. You're in a relationship. Oh, it's so wonderful. Infatuation, wonderful, great. Oh, let's get married. No, okay, we got married. And we all, boom. Infatuation, gone. Okay? You've lost your power. You've lost your options. You've lost everything once you commit into monogamy. Infatuation, gone within a year or two. And usually when she gets pregnant or when she has the baby. Okay? Which usually happens 1 or 2 or 3 years after people get married. The infatuation stage could last as long as 2 years if there's no kids. And he does everything right. Okay? And then there's also going to be mishaps and issues and miscommunication and stuff like that in the beginning. And probably all of the time. Okay? Women have cycles, right? They've got PMS every single month. And she's going to piss you off. You're going to piss her off. All that stuff. Like, monogamy is going to do that. Okay? In 3 in Love, not so much. Because they've got capacity and they have understanding and they seek to understand each other so that you don't have to be the one seeking to understand her all of the time. Because she's taken care of by the other women. Women need women. She doesn't need a lot of you. She needs just a little bit of you. It's actually better if you're far away the vast majority of time as a man. Trust me on this.
You know, a lot of big tests in people's relationship is the first and second argument. How's she gonna talk to you? How you gonna talk to her? How can I communicate well? How can I get over and get past it? Or is this gonna be a constant lingering, thing in the relationship? A lot of things are going to be answered, but when there is love and there's infatuation, there's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. Like I said, I may do a video about it later because I feel.
Yeah, just wanted to share that again. Infatuation in 3 in Love works so beautifully simply because, again, pre-selection. A woman having a woman she cares about love on you. What happens to her emotions? That man must be high value. What is it that turns women on? A man being high value. A man having power. Okay? Power meaning the ability to do. If he has confidence, if he has the ability to do, then she will be attracted to that. And she'll be reminded of him on a daily basis, elevated, so to speak, simply by the mentioning of his name by another woman. When that happens, you are literally, as a man, you're becoming a Justin Bieber for your family, okay? Someone who your women and your kids will look up to and be fired up outside their brain about being in his presence, okay? Especially when you're not there a lot, which is good. That's fantastic. You just need a few hours a day when you're with them. And then maybe one day a week or one day a month where you spend all day together, whatever it is. It's supposed to be special when you're near. Monogamy screws all of that over.
Like, this video is kind of long, but fellas, I'm telling you, got to put the work in. And once you put the work in, you get enough information, enough data to make the most important decision in your life, which is picking your wife. You cannot ignore the red flags. So a lot of things that you know in your gut feeling, if she's the one or not. And it don't take that long, fellas. Honestly, it really don't take that long. I'd say 2 to 3 months max where you be like, you know what, I could be done, I could be out the game. And from that point, there's life decisions that make you like, all right, we can wait a year, 2 years, whatever the case may be. Some people might be in college. Some guy may want to still wait to make a certain level of money. I understand all those things, but it shouldn't take that long. It don't take 2 or 3 years to figure out if she's your wife or not. You'll know. Y'all fit tighter than Oak J's glove.
You're not supposed to have women by your side when you're on your grind trying to make money, okay? And I'm saying trying to make money. Once you've made the money, you're not trying anymore. Like I said, shoelaces, bike riding, you know how to make the money, okay? So it's like the women come into your life then. Once you know how to make it, it's easy. It's not a problem, okay? That's when you begin to tackle, more interesting problems, right?
I promise you, you will know. So hopefully this video helps you out. Like I said, man, you got to put the work in first in order to get enough information to make sure you pick the right woman, which is the most important decision of your life.
I'll stop there. But basically him saying get enough information, what does that even mean? Like in his eyes, I believe that he means getting enough information is dating a lot to try and figure out who you want and who you do not want. No, that's not how you do it. If you actually understand female psyche and you stay away from women and you begin to study female psyche with us, okay, with the Women of High Value channel, the Men of High Value channel, you understand how this works, how success works, how happiness works, you know, how women work, okay, how relationships work. If you understand this data, you don't need to date women in order for you to create a successful relationship in the future. You simply need to be an amazing man who understands and then who begins to apply the correct principles once he's in the relationship, once they've committed for life. Because in 3 in Love, guess what? Because they're infatuated, their eyes are going to be half closed in the sense of finding your faults and weaknesses. So yes, will you have faults and weaknesses since you've never been dating before? Absolutely. Okay? You're not going to know what to do around women very well, probably, because you haven't been dating around. Great. Okay? But you'll learn as you develop friendships with women on, you know, once you begin to look for them. But once you've committed to 3 women, now you're actually, it's going to be a natural evolvement where you're learning 3 times as fast as if you had 1 woman. Okay? So 3 women's problems is going to speed up your learning curve, and you've got capacity and time to actually learn and absorb and be a sponge on how to adapt and become an amazing leader to women and children, if that makes sense. So gathering information, the only information you need to gather is how to make a lot of money and how to change yourself so that you're able to do that consistently over a long period of time so that it becomes exponential. And then understanding female psyche to the nth degree, femininity, so you can lead women and lead kids, okay? Leading others was part of the gathering money and resources aspect, because you're becoming a leader. More people want to work for you. As a result, everything in life changes for you. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. You guys are absolutely awesome. I say that every time, but I seriously mean it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.